Have you ever felt like your brain is running on fumes, like you're constantly pushing through fog just to get through the day? You wake up exhausted, struggle to focus, and by afternoon you're reaching for your third cup of coffee just to feel somewhat human. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't laziness, and it's not a character flaw. Your brain has reached its limit, and it's desperately sending you signals that it needs a complete reset. The good news? You can reclaim that mental clarity and energy you've been missing, and it doesn't require expensive treatments or complicated protocols. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to reboot your brain's operating system and get back to feeling like yourself again. Before we dive in, if you're serious about transforming your brain health and unlocking your full potential, hit that subscribe button right now. Ring the bell so you never miss these life-changing insights, and give this video a like to help others discover this information. Now let's get into it. Think about the last time your computer started running slowly. Programs freezing, files taking forever to open, everything just dragging along. What did you do? You probably restarted it. Your brain works remarkably similar. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman describes the brain as having a limited battery of focused attention and cognitive resources that depletes throughout the day. Unlike your laptop, though, most people never give their brain the proper reset it desperately needs. They just keep pushing, adding more tasks, more stress, more stimulation, until the whole system starts breaking down. The problem runs deeper than most realize. We're living in an era of constant cognitive overload. Your brain processes roughly 34 gigabytes of information daily, equivalent to streaming high-definition video for hours on end. Every notification, every decision, every interaction drains your mental battery a little more. Kwik, one of the world's leading brain coaches, points out that our modern lifestyle creates what he calls digital dementia, where our over-reliance on technology and constant multitasking actually weakens our brain's natural capabilities. We've essentially trained our brains to be scattered, reactive, and depleted. But here's where it gets interesting. Your brain has an incredible built-in capacity for renewal and regeneration. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't stop in childhood. It continues throughout your entire life, which means you can literally reshape how your brain functions starting today. The question isn't whether you can reset your brain, it's whether you're willing to make the changes necessary to do so. Let's start with the foundation that most people completely overlook: sleep architecture. When you sleep, your brain doesn't just rest. It activates a sophisticated cleaning system called the glymphatic system that flushes out toxic proteins and metabolic waste that accumulated during your waking hours. Research from the University of Rochester showed that this system becomes 10 times more active during sleep. Without adequate deep sleep, these toxins build up like garbage piling up during a sanitation strike. This accumulation directly impairs cognitive function, emotional regulation, and decision-making ability. The reset starts with protecting your sleep like it's the most important appointment of your day. Your brain needs consistent sleep-wake times to regulate its circadian rhythm. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, helps synchronize your internal clock. This synchronization affects everything from hormone production to body temperature to alertness patterns. When you constantly shift these times, you're essentially giving your brain jet lag without ever leaving your time zone. Temperature plays a crucial role that few people optimize. Your core body temperature needs to drop to initiate and maintain quality sleep. Taking a hot shower 90 minutes before bed triggers a compensatory cooling effect that helps you fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. Keep your bedroom around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, it might feel cold initially, but your brain will thank you with the kind of restorative sleep that actually recharges your mental batteries. Light exposure represents another critical piece of the reset puzzle. Your brain uses light as the primary signal for when to be alert and when to rest. Getting bright light exposure, ideally natural sunlight, within the first hour of waking tells your brain that it's daytime and time to produce cortisol and other wake-promoting hormones. This morning light exposure actually sets a timer in your brain for when melatonin should be released later that evening. Conversely, exposing yourself to bright lights, especially blue light from screens, in the hours before bed confuses this system and suppresses melatonin production by up to 50%. Now let's talk about the cognitive load you're carrying. Your brain has two modes of operation: focused attention and diffuse thinking. Focused attention is what you use when you're actively working on a task, reading, or problem solving. Diffuse thinking happens when your mind wanders, when you're in the shower or taking a walk. Most people spend almost their entire day in focused attention mode, switching rapidly between tasks, never giving their brain permission to enter diffuse mode. This creates mental exhaustion because the brain never gets to process and integrate all the information it's absorbing. The reset requires intentional periods of doing nothing. Not scrolling through your phone, not listening to a podcast, not watching videos. Actual nothing. Neuroscience research shows that these moments of mental downtime are when your brain makes creative connections, solves problems that stumped you earlier, and processes emotional experiences. Schedule at least 15 to 20 minutes daily where you literally sit or walk without any input. Your initial reaction will probably be discomfort, maybe even anxiety. That's normal. That discomfort is actually your brain starting to recalibrate itself back to a more natural state. Nutrition fundamentally impacts brain function in ways most people underestimate. Your brain represents about 2% of your body weight, but uses roughly 20% of your total energy. It runs primarily on glucose, but the quality and timing of that fuel matters tremendously. When you eat refined carbohydrates and sugar, your blood glucose spikes rapidly, giving you a temporary energy boost followed by a crash. This roller coaster exhausts your brain's energy regulation systems. Switching to foods that provide steady energy, like complex carbohydrates paired with protein and healthy fats, gives your brain the consistent fuel it needs to function optimally. Omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA, deserve special attention. Your brain is about 60% fat, and DHA makes up a significant portion of that. These fatty acids are crucial for maintaining brain cell membranes and supporting communication between neurons. Studies show that adequate omega-3 intake improves focus, memory, and mood regulation. If you're not regularly eating fatty fish like salmon or sardines, you're likely running a deficit that's directly impacting your cognitive performance. Hydration affects brain function more dramatically than most realize. Your brain is roughly 73% water, and even mild dehydration of just 2% can impair attention, memory, and motor skills. When you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated enough to impact cognitive function. The reset includes drinking water consistently throughout the day. Start your day with 16 to 20 ounces of water to rehydrate after hours of sleep. Keep water visible and accessible throughout your day to make hydration automatic. Movement represents one of the most powerful brain reset tools available. When you exercise, your brain releases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, essentially fertilizer for your brain cells. This protein supports the survival of existing neurons and encourages the growth of new neurons and connections. Exercise also increases blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients while removing waste products more efficiently. You don't need intense workouts to get these benefits. A brisk 30-minute walk can significantly improve cognitive function for hours afterward. The timing of movement matters for the reset. Morning exercise enhances alertness and sets a positive trajectory for your entire day. It also helps regulate your circadian rhythm by signaling to your body that it's time to be active. Even brief movement breaks throughout the day help clear mental fatigue and improve focus. Standing up, stretching, or doing a few jumping jacks between focused work sessions gives your brain a chance to reset and return to tasks with renewed energy. Stress management isn't optional for brain health, it's fundamental. Chronic stress floods your brain with cortisol, which at elevated levels actually damages the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. Long-term stress also impairs the prefrontal cortex, affecting decision-making and emotional regulation. You cannot reset your brain while remaining in a constant state of stress. This doesn't mean eliminating all stress, which is impossible. It means developing practices that help your nervous system return to baseline after stressful events. Breathing techniques offer immediate access to nervous system regulation. Your breath is the only part of your autonomic nervous system that you can consciously control, making it a bridge between your conscious mind and automatic processes. When you're stressed, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid, which signals danger to your brain. Deliberately slowing your breathing, particularly extending your exhales to be longer than your inhales, activates your parasympathetic nervous system and tells your brain that you're safe. Just 5 minutes of conscious breathing can shift your entire physiological state. Social connection profoundly impacts brain health in ways that might surprise you. Research consistently shows that strong social relationships predict better cognitive function and slower cognitive decline as we age. When you engage in meaningful conversation, your brain activates multiple regions simultaneously. You're processing language, reading nonverbal cues, predicting responses, and managing emotional content. This complex coordination keeps your brain active and healthy. Loneliness, on the other hand, triggers stress responses and inflammatory processes that damage brain tissue over time. The reset includes prioritizing real, face-to-face interactions with people who energize rather than drain you. Your environment shapes your brain's functioning more than you might realize. Clutter and disorganization create visual noise that constantly pulls at your attention, even when you're not consciously aware of it. This ambient stress drains cognitive resources that could be directed toward meaningful work. Creating physical spaces that support focus means removing distractions and organizing your surroundings. If you want to read more, put books in easy reach and your phone in another room. Your environment can either support your brain reset or sabotage it with every glance. Digital consumption deserves serious examination. The average person now spends over 7 hours daily consuming digital content. Social media platforms are specifically designed to capture and hold your attention using the same psychological principles that make gambling addictive. Every scroll, every like, every notification triggers a small dopamine release, training your brain to constantly seek that next hit of stimulation. This hijacks your brain's reward system and makes it increasingly difficult to focus on tasks that don't provide immediate gratification. The reset requires honest assessment of your digital habits and deliberate boundaries around technology use. Jim Kwik emphasizes the importance of single tasking in an age of constant multitasking. Contrary to popular belief, your brain doesn't actually multitask. It rapidly switches between tasks, and every switch carries a cognitive cost. Research shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to a task after an interruption. When you constantly switch between tasks, you never achieve the deep focus state where your best thinking happens. The reset means protecting blocks of time for single tasking, turning off notifications, and giving one thing your complete attention. Learning new skills accelerates brain regeneration and creates new neural pathways. When you challenge your brain with novel, complex tasks, you stimulate neuroplasticity and cognitive growth. This doesn't mean you need to master quantum physics. It means regularly stepping outside your comfort zone and engaging with material that stretches your current abilities. Learning a musical instrument, picking up a new language, or studying a subject completely outside your expertise all force your brain to create new connections and strengthen existing ones. Memory techniques provide practical tools for optimizing brain function. Your brain doesn't store information like a computer stores files. Memory is reconstructive, meaning you rebuild memories each time you recall them. Understanding this process allows you to leverage techniques that work with your brain's natural architecture. Spaced repetition, where you review information at increasing intervals, dramatically improves long-term retention. Creating vivid mental images and connecting new information to existing knowledge makes recall significantly easier. The concept of cognitive reserve explains why some people maintain sharp mental function well into old age while others decline rapidly. Cognitive reserve is essentially your brain's resilience, built through years of learning, social engagement, physical activity, and intellectual challenge. Every positive choice you make deposits into this reserve account, while every negative choice withdraws from it. The beautiful part? You can start building reserve at any age. The brain improvements you create today literally change your brain's trajectory for decades to come. Meditation represents perhaps the most researched brain training technique available. Consistent meditation practice actually changes brain structure, increasing gray matter density in regions associated with learning and memory, while decreasing density in areas associated with anxiety and stress. You don't need to meditate for hours to see benefits. Studies show that just 12 minutes of daily meditation for 8 weeks produces measurable brain changes. Start small, perhaps with 5 minutes of focused attention on your breath, and build from there. The key is consistency, not duration. Purpose and meaning dramatically influence brain health in ways that extend far beyond simple motivation. Research on longevity consistently identifies having a sense of purpose as one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging and cognitive function. When you engage in activities aligned with your values and larger purpose, your brain releases neurochemicals that enhance well-being and reduce stress. This doesn't require finding some grand cosmic calling. It might be as simple as identifying what matters most to you and ensuring your daily actions reflect those priorities. Here's the crucial turning point that changes everything. Your brain doesn't reset through information alone. Knowledge without implementation changes nothing. You now understand the mechanisms behind brain fatigue and the pathways to renewal. The real question is what you'll do with this understanding. The brain you have tomorrow is built by the choices you make today. Every moment offers an opportunity to support or sabotage your cognitive health. Those small choices compound over time into either remarkable clarity and energy or continued depletion and fog. The truth is that most people will watch this video, feel inspired, and then do absolutely nothing different. They'll return to the same patterns that created their exhaustion in the first place, hoping somehow that things will magically improve. Don't be most people. Your brain is the most complex structure in the known universe, containing roughly 86 billion neurons making trillions of connections. It has brought you to this exact moment, processing these words, generating thoughts, and creating your experience of reality. It deserves better than being run into the ground day after day without proper care. Start tonight with one change. Pick the intervention that resonated most strongly and implement it immediately. Maybe it's protecting your sleep by setting a consistent bedtime. Perhaps it's scheduling 15 minutes of genuine mental downtime tomorrow. It could be putting your phone in another room during focused work. Whatever you choose, commit fully to that one change for at least 2 weeks before adding another. Sustainable transformation happens through consistent small actions, not dramatic overhauls that fizzle out after a few days. Your energy, focus, and mental clarity aren't luxuries reserved for a lucky few. They're your natural state, and they're waiting on the other side of intentional brain care. The fog you've been living in isn't permanent, and the person you're capable of being, the one who wakes up energized and moves through the day with sustained focus and genuine enthusiasm, that person isn't gone. They're just waiting for you to create the conditions for them to emerge. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible for your brain health, subscribe to this channel right now and hit the like button. Your engagement helps more people discover these transformative insights. Check out the other videos where we dive even deeper into optimizing your mind and unlocking your full potential. The question isn't whether your brain can reset and recover. The science proves unequivocally that it can. The only question that matters is whether you'll give it the chance.